476 AD. Rome was still standing. Its grand palaces were still there. Its towering walls still cast their shadows across the city. Even its centuries of glory remained. But one thing was gone: its power. The empire that had once shaken 3 continents with a single command could no longer protect its own capital. And the most surprising part is this: Rome was not destroyed by the strongest army on earth. It was destroyed by countless small mistakes that had been growing for generations. Mistakes that seemed harmless at first, but eventually became the reason behind one of the greatest collapses in human history. This is not just the story of an empire. It is the story of how the greatest power in the world slowly became a warning for every civilization that came after it. Rome's greatest strength was never just its army. Its true power was discipline. An ordinary farmer could become a highly trained soldier. Every soldier believed that the empire came before his own life. That belief transformed a small city on the banks of the Tiber River into the most powerful civilization the ancient world had ever seen. Year after year, Rome expanded its borders. Italy, then Carthage, then Greece, then Egypt. Every victory brought more wealth, more influence, and more confidence. Massive roads connected distant provinces. Aqueducts carried fresh water across entire cities. Trade flourished. New towns appeared across the empire. Before long, people began to say that all roads lead to Rome. It wasn't just a famous phrase. It reflected the reality of Roman power. But as the empire grew larger, its hidden problems grew with it. The enormous wealth created by war slowly gathered in the hands of a small group of powerful families. Ordinary citizens struggled to survive. Farmers lost their land. More people crowded into the cities looking for work. While life became harder for the public, those inside the political elite fought for something else: power. The Roman Senate gradually became a battlefield of ambition. Leaders who were supposed to protect the Republic became obsessed with protecting themselves. Personal influence became more important than the future of the empire. And when power becomes more valuable than unity, the beginning of the end has already arrived. It was during this moment that one man changed Roman history forever: Julius Caesar. He was more than a brilliant general. He was a leader who inspired absolute loyalty from his soldiers. His victories in Gaul made him a hero to the people. But the more popular Caesar became, the more frightened many senators grew. They believed that if one man gained complete control, the Republic itself would disappear. In 49 BC, Caesar made the decision that changed everything. He crossed the Rubicon River with his army. There was no turning back. Civil war spread across the Roman world. After years of brutal fighting, Caesar emerged victorious. For a brief moment, it seemed as though Rome had finally found stability again. History, however, had different plans. In March of 44 BC, inside the Senate chamber, a group of conspirators surrounded Julius Caesar. Within moments, the man who had conquered nations was struck down by dozens of blades. His death was more than an assassination. It shattered the fragile balance that held Rome together. The empire still looked powerful from the outside. Its armies still marched. Its cities still prospered. But beneath the surface, the foundations had already begun to crack. And those cracks would soon grow into a crisis that even the mighty Roman Empire could no longer survive.
After the assassination of Julius Caesar, Rome was consumed by years of chaos. Civil war spread across the Republic, and the future of Rome seemed uncertain. Eventually, one man emerged victorious. His name was Octavian. Later, the world would know him as Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Under Augustus, the empire entered its golden age. New cities were built, trade expanded across 3 continents, roads stretched for thousands of miles connecting distant provinces to the heart of the empire. Peace and stability returned, and for generations, Rome appeared stronger than ever. Historians would later call this remarkable period the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. But beneath this golden age, new problems were quietly taking shape. The empire had grown so vast that governing it became an enormous challenge. Its borders stretched across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, demanding a massive army to defend them. Maintaining that army required enormous amounts of money. Taxes continued to rise. Trade began to slow, inflation weakened the value of Roman currency, and the economy gradually lost its strength. As the empire's financial decline, so did the power of its military. At the same time, Rome faced another dangerous crisis. Emperors came and went with alarming speed. Some ruled for only a few months before being overthrown or assassinated. Powerful generals competed for the throne, while soldiers often chose loyalty to their commanders instead of loyalty to the empire itself. Political stability disappeared, and the government became trapped in an endless cycle of conflict. Rome's greatest enemy was no longer beyond its borders, it was growing from within. Sensing this weakness, Germanic tribes increased their pressure along Rome's northern frontiers. Then came the moment that shocked the ancient world. In 410 AD, the Visigoth king Alaric led his warriors into the city of Rome. For nearly 800 years, no foreign army had successfully captured the eternal city. The impossible had become reality. The city that had once ruled the known world was plundered, and the illusion of Rome's invincibility was finally broken. Yet the final chapter had not been written. Over the following decades, the empire continued to weaken. Its borders collapsed. Fewer Roman citizens were willing to serve in the army, forcing the empire to rely heavily on foreign mercenaries. Some of those same mercenaries would eventually turn their weapons against the empire they had been hired to protect. Then came 476 AD. The Germanic leader Odoacer removed the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, from the throne. There was no legendary final battle, no dramatic last stand. By that time, the Western Roman Empire had already collapsed from within. Odoacer simply delivered the final blow to a civilization that had been slowly falling apart for generations. Although the Western Roman Empire came to an end, Rome's legacy never disappeared. Its laws continue to influence legal systems around the world. Its engineering transformed the way civilizations built roads, bridges, and cities. Its military organization shaped future armies, and even the idea of a Senate survives in many modern governments. The Roman Empire fell nearly 15 centuries ago, but its story is still alive, because Rome teaches us a timeless lesson. Great civilizations are rarely destroyed overnight. They fall slowly when ambition replaces duty, when corruption overpowers justice, and when a nation begins to believe that its strength alone can guarantee its future. Rome did not disappear because it lacked power. Rome disappeared because long before its enemies arrived, it had already begun to lose itself.